Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how.
Having a hell of a time doing it.
Laughing every step of the way.
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture. Welcome back to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. We are in a new place podcasting today.
Very bright in my face.
It is very bright, but you look like a goddess.
Do I?
Like a goddess of light and joy and I don't know, you just do.
So what I'm hearing is there needs to be a photo shoot when we're done here.
Absolutely.
I don't know where I'm putting these pictures, but it's fine.
For work. For work.
Which job? We have several.
We'll talk about that later. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
I feel like I've reached a more settled space with my dating headspace, and I feel like that was wild and crazy for a while there. We podcasted about it, and I want to it's not a resolution because I'm not done healing, I'm not done growing, and I'm not done dating. Mm-hmm. So it's not a final resolution, but I'm in a peaceful space. So I want to kind of bring it to like a close of, I am no longer psycho crazy. Let's rephrase that.
We all are a little.
I know. I was like, that's not true.
Let's be real.
I just feel like I'm in a better headspace, and I feel like I've learned a lot. And so I'm ready to share. I shared a lot of the beginning parts of the dating, and then where my head was super crazy. And now I'm in a space where we're just actively working through things and healing and not in such a crazy space. So I kind of want to share a little bit about that, and then the journey recap.
I love that. We're just we're on a different spot in the journey now. Yeah. And it's time to share about that spot.
Yeah. Really want to share. I can't see your face. I'm not going to look at you anymore. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I know you're very beautiful.
That's okay.
Okay. So to recap, I went on a date. What has it been? Like a month and a half ago?
That's it.
I know. This is where I'm learning, and I would actually love to hear your perspective on this part of it.
Okay.
We have a lot of judgment on time, other people's time frames, and it doesn't matter what it is, what you do with your kids, what you do with dating, what you do with your job, how people handle life. In general, people judge time frames.
Right.
But when you're living it, it's interesting how different experiences feel longer, shorter, whatever.
I would agree.
So for me, it has only been a month and a half since the first date with this guy. It feels like we've been doing this for a long time. And the fact that you feel that too makes me feel better. But you've expressed that that's how things with your...
it's got to have been at least 3 months in my mind.
Right? It feels like a long time. We've been through a lot.
It has.
I've been through a lot. Let's be honest. It's me. He's fine. But how was that for you when you were dating your boyfriend? Because we've talked about time frames for you.
We have talked about time frames. So I have been dating my boyfriend for 2 years now.
That to me is insane that it's been that long.
2 years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. And I love our time frame. Our time frame of how we're doing things is a lot slower than the majority of people. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what I have needed to adjust, to heal,
to adjust to a man.
Yes.
No, it's true. It's true. It's not, simple things like having a man voice in my house throws me.
Right.
It's
for
weird.
Sure. Like seeing his work boots on the steps in the garage.
Yeah.
I'm still like, what? What
is that? Why are they here? Those don't fit me.
Right.
None of my kids are that big.
Right. So time is weird.
It is weird.
It's a weird thing. It's fluid. I definitely have less judgment now.
That's how I feel
walking through what I've walked through with my boyfriend the last 2 years. I definitely have less judgment of people's timelines.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. There's definitely you meet somebody and marry them in 6 weeks. I'm going to judge you hard for that.
Right. Yeah.
But I definitely have more grace, I think, more compassion for people's timelines. I don't know their story. I don't know the sides of it.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And it's not like me and this guy, we haven't we're still just getting to know each other, and I'm very aware of that. But the feelings and the intentions on my end, at least, feel really strong and really intense for how short of a period of time. So that has given me grace and not judging. So when people do move really quick, I'm like, I get why you would. I get how you could do that. Because again, I just said we've only been seeing each other for a month and a half, and you're like, that's it. It feels longer, and you aren't even in the relationship. So I feel the same way, and he does too. I was like, we've been doing this like it's like 3 weeks. He's like, no, it hasn't. He's like, it's been a month and a half. I was like, no, it's been 3 weeks. I counted today because I was really concerned. So anyway, yeah. So time it's been wild. There's been a lot that's gone on for me. So we started out with a first date that I don't typically get excited about first dates, and I was excited the entire time. I was excited getting ready. I was excited talking to him. I was excited when I first saw him, and the excitement hasn't stopped, which has been super fun. Aww. Usually I get anxious and nervous, not good. Anxious, nervous, like I have to like overcome. I keep comparing it to public speaking.
That's so funny.
That's honestly what it is. I have to talk myself into it. I'm like, this is going to be fine.
That's so funny. For me, people are exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm more of an introvert. I'm an extrovert around my people.
Exactly.
But I'm mostly an introvert. And so people
that's a spider
are exhausting. So going on first dates sounds horrible to me because it's like new people all the time, and you have to get to know them and share all the crap you just shared with somebody else last week. Like, that's exhausting.
It really is, which is hilarious because Shirley loves it. And so I love learning how other people, like, she's like, oh my gosh, if I could date forever, I would. She's like, I don't want to like date. I like meeting new people. Which I'm like, that's so interesting that that's your experience. And so she was like she's like, I'll do all the first dates for you. I was like, please do.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Make sure Greg knows though.
Yeah, right.
But like for me, I was like, that's the worst part. Like I need that comfort of like, whatever. So with this guy, it was like, I think I had like a moment of anxiousness, but it was more like, it was just excitement heightened, I think, now that I look back on it. And it was for like a minute.
Right.
It was like a minute because I was ready to go, but I wasn't ready to leave. And I was like, what do I do with myself? Right. Anyway. So that was kind of cool to have that experience and then when I saw him, like it was still just though this is, I remember he walked around the car and I was like, oh, he is so much cuter than his pictures. And I go, really? Did I tell you that? I'm sure I did. And I'm sitting across the table from him and he's telling me like a very serious story. And I'm just like, he's so cute. Focus, Gina, focus.
I do that all the time where somebody's talking and I will zone off to be thinking about something else or their face or something. And all of a sudden I'm like, they're talking, Julia. Listen, they're talking. You're not going to know what to say because you're not listening.
It's so funny. It's really true. I do this.
It happens. Yeah.
So anyway, but then I've had a lot of self-sabotage, spiraling and overthinking, and my brain, I have a great imagination. I always have since I was a little kid, and it sometimes works against me. And so in this scenario, it works against me. And as a mom, it works against me because I can sit there and I can think of the craziest made up story that doesn't match the person's actions at all, but there's a space that leaves for a story to be written. And I'm like, watch what I can do with that. And so watching myself come up with crazy stories and having to fix that in my head. I almost wonder though, if I had to do that because I had to come up with the craziest stories, because a lot of times my ex would take it really far. So I had to prepare, and that's part of me preparing.
Right.
I'm learning all of this from Inside Out too. From anxiety, from Inside Out too.
Yes.
Like, because she was like, we have to run through all the scenarios so we're prepared.
I was doing filters with the kids the other day. We were killing time.
Yeah.
So we were just doing funny filters, and one of them was, what's your character?
Yeah.
Guess what popped up?
Yeah, anxiety?
Yes, from Inside Out too. And I was like, throw my phone across the room. Absolutely not.
Were you anxious about that?
No.
Were you anxious about your results?
No. Fine.
You have to squeak more when you say it.
Fine.
That's so good.
Not to totally interrupt the episode, but I'm going to right now.
I love it.
Who the fuck is Janet? And why do you have her name on your bracelet?
We made friendship bracelets.
Who's Janet?
Kaylee.
Okay.
It's from Bluey.
I'll allow it.
She sent me a meme, and it was a video of Bluey, the kid show, the cartoon kid show. Now, Kaylee has 3 little girls. Her oldest is 5. So she's like, her oldest and both of our youngest have several years between them. So she's in a totally different stage of life than we are.
Right.
So she's still doing the cartoon all the time, little baby show. So anyway, her kids love Bluey. And so she sent me some reel or something like that of Bluey, who's the main character, and the sister Bandit. And they're in a car pretending to be old women, and one of them's Janet and one of them's Rita. And whatever the caption was fit her and my conversation we were having. And so she sent it to me. And so now she's in my phone as Rita. Yes. She calls me Janet. But it's like, Janet, let's go to the store today. Anyway,
I'll allow it only because it's Kaylee and I like her.
We do need, you and I should have a friendship
Thank you for clearing that. Enough friendship bracelet. We're going tattoos. I want a permanent spot on your body.
Well, we need to book that because I'm jonesing. I love the side thing.
You may resume back to
who's Janet?
Back to what we were talking about in this episode.
Oh, I'm dying. That's so. I love the offended. Who's Janet? Oh, what were we talking about? Anxiety. Anyway, so I'm learning about anxiety in relationships, and I am learning about anxious attachment, which sounds like you are too.
Yes.
We're reading lots of books and doing
apparently
lots of
stuff. I'm a mix of anxious attachment and avoidant.
Let's avoidant, take the 2 fearful. Extremes. Wrap it in Julia.
Mix those together. Put them in a blender. Make it real messy. That's what I am.
So here's the great part, though. The things that we have that are issues, I feel like are fixable, and we're self-aware enough. We try to be, at least, that we want to go, and we will work at them. What if we had things that it's like, this is just who you are, and you either have to take heavy medications to sedate yourself,
Yikes.
Or just live with this? So at least it's that. But so a lot of the last episode was me in a super anxious space, in a super anxious attached space, in me never having been in this situation. Actually, I have been in this situation, but with all of my friendships, all of the meaningful friendships I have, they weren't as intense because it's not a romantic bit. So there's that part where my kids are involved in a totally different way. I'm involved in a totally different way. Because as much as you and I do life together, and the neighborhood, we all do life together, it's different when you're looking for an eternal companion.
Yes.
Right. So it is a little bit different, but I had recognized, I was like, I've already done this. How many times did I come to you and I'm just like, how much on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate me today? And you're like 0, -4.
I've never hated you.
Right. And I have to get that reassurance. I would still need reassurance. I still had the dark thoughts of I'm a burden. I'm like people having to take care of me, and me and the kids are too much. People invite us over out of pity. Right. Like it was a lot of the same feelings, but I'm feeling them in this, which made me feel actually less broken because I was like, I'm feeling this everywhere.
Right.
I'm feeling this all over, and I overcame all of that. And now I have all this security with my people that I know I can show up, and that they're happy that I'm there, that they invite me into their lives. Right.
Right.
And so I am learning to do that with him, which is a lot harder, but doable. So we went from the last episode where I was really in my head, I'm dealing with all this anxious anxiety, and I'm having to work really hard with, I went to an energy worker. So she had me doing some like breath work exercises to really, the way that you breathe really affects how the oxygen gets to your brain and how your brain is functioning appropriately. So nose breathing is what you need to do. Okay. And that's huge because then it feeds your brain appropriately instead of through your mouth, which is unhealthy.
Which is crazy because I know that. I've heard that before, and I will try to consciously do that, and I end up getting short of breath. Yeah,
it's weird. It's practice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of practice, but it's helped me a ton because I can feel the anxiety come and I breathe. I just take a minute and I breathe. One of the things that I had thought of that was actually a massive help for me was looking back, and this took time, right? I had that was the other thing too, is so far this guy's a good guy, and he's showing it through his actions and his words, them matching the way he communicates, the way that he, I feel like he pushes me in a way that makes me question my actions, and not in a how dare you questioning, but just why would you ask that question instead of coming to the rescue and settling my feelings with affirming things. He's like, why would you ask that question? And then I dig deeper and I'm going, oh, because I'm a hot mess. Not because I act like, because I need to settle something inside of me, not because I need you to settle this for me.
Right.
Like, and that was really interesting. But, so there's been a lot of prayer. There's been a lot of time with God and just been like, how do I fix this? How do I become more secure? So one of my favorite things, that I recite in my head, not recite in my head, but I think about often is me making up these stories hurt me. And so, the last time I went to the energy worker, we talked a lot about trust. And she was like, trusting somebody's hard after what you've been through. That's hard. And that's understandable. But if you are feeling as comfortable as you are with him to feel as much as you're feeling with him, you're just holding yourself back. And you're holding you both back by not trusting, because his actions have not been what your ex has done. And he's proven that. Again, it hasn't been very long, so I'm not, but at the same time, I'm at this precipice where I'm going, if I don't fully trust, we're never going to get anywhere. And that's scary. But the thought that I was getting at is, I can either hurt myself by making up these thoughts and ideas, whether it's, oh, he's seeing somebody else, so he's just saying this for no reason, right? Like, he's a narcissist and he wants control, and so he's just saying all these things to earn my trust, and I drop my guard, and then I'm right back to where I was 6 years ago. All of those, like, those are the kinds of dark thoughts. And so I go from that to go, I can either hurt myself by doing that, or I can trust him with a chance that he does the hurting. I'm 100% hurting myself. I'm 100% setting him and I up for failure. We will 100% not get anywhere if I continue in this headspace. Or I can learn to trust him, give it a shot, and there's a massive potential it can go well. Even if him and I don't work out.
Right.
It can, right? So like the ratio, the percentage is off. And so I have to remind myself. I was like, your thought process right now feels like you're protecting yourself, but it's actually hurting you. Trusting him and talking to him. That's the other thing, is communicating with him.
Right.
I talked to him about it, and he does, reassure his intentions and gives me space to be where I'm at, and then pushes me to really dig deep into why I feel that way and how to heal that and give space for that, which I think is a huge blessing. So, there was just one day that I got up and I didn't have my good morning text waiting for me.
What?
I know. And I immediately...
Sorry, I forgot.
That's amazing. I didn't get a good morning text from him. And instead of me going like, oh, he hates me, he's done, he's annoyed, he doesn't want to be here anymore, which is honestly, like, the thoughts that go through my head are outrageous. It makes me want to cry. Like, I don't want to say them out loud because they will make me cry. Because they're mean. They're so mean to me.
But so I deal with the same exact thoughts.
Really?
Almost. And it's amazing how quickly they come without even consciously realizing it. Like, it takes a level of self-awareness to realize that's what's happening.
Well, this is, I'm going to finish what happened, and then I have a thought about that. So I didn't get a text when first waking up. And instead of those dark thoughts, I automatically was like, oh, I know he'll text me when he can. We've been doing this for a month, however long it was at that point.
Right.
And I get a text from him every day, and there's a good morning text every day. And he has his kids 50% of the time. I have mine 90 million% of the time.
Yeah. And
we both have jobs, and we both have multiple jobs. We're both very busy people.
Right.
And so but he has proven to make time for us and me, and he makes time to check in with me, and he makes he's done that consistently the entire time. And so to have all of that, I was able to sit there and go, he'll reach out when he can. I know that he cares. And then he did. And I was like, winning. We're winning.
I love that.
But I went to Jared yesterday, and I was talking to the ladies at the front desk, and we were talking about those dark thoughts. And the lady Jen at the front desk, who I love and adore, has so many great advices. She's the secondary therapy. You go see Jared, and then you go see Jen.
So wait, since I can't see Jared right now because I'm number 250 on the waiting list, which hasn't moved at all in the last 2 years, 2.5 years.
Stupid.
Can I just sit in the lobby and talk to Jen?
I wonder if you could. Like, I wonder what kind of
We can just say
consultation that
that
is.
you need me to drive you.
It's true. It's little. We can take it. So Jen was saying, and I loved this because I feel like I knew it, but having her say the words was really empowering. She was just like, Satan is so clever. When you
Mm-hmm.
have those dark thoughts, he makes them sound like your voice.
Yes.
And so even though in my voice I'm going, he hates me, he doesn't want to spend time with me anymore, my kids are too much, all of these things, it's not, the words are, you're too much, your kids are too much. Or no, it's, I'm too much, my kids are too much, I'm not enough, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not worth it. That's how Satan speaks to me, which makes, and so I'm going, okay.
But I
And
love
that's,
that distinction. It's
it's
your
hard.
voice. It sounds like your voice, but it's not your thoughts.
Yeah.
They're not coming from you.
And that's what I learned from the other energy worker is she's going, it is not your trauma. It's trauma you've experienced. It's not your divorce. It's
Mm-hmm.
these are things that have you've experienced, but they're not yours. Stop staking claim. Words have power. And you and I have said that for years. And we say that to our kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so aware now of how poorly I speak to myself and why my headspace is here. So it's not my trauma. It's trauma I've experienced. That isn't my voice. That's Satan's voice.
Yes.
God speaks in light. And that's it. And that's all he speaks. And I know how God feels about me. And so when I come at it from that angle,
yes,
it's better. And I can feel better about myself. So what I'm finding now is that the confidence that comes from that is I get to be my authentic self in a new space that I never was before, in a romantic space. Every time I have a date or somebody, I'm watching myself grow and heal and be my authentic self, that I'm with you, that I am with my kids. And I get to do that with a man. And that is so fun because that version of me I like so much more than the one that I try to conform to what I think a man would want me to be, which is what I had to do when I was married.
Right.
So anyway, it's been such a journey and I've loved it, even though it's been really ugly and hard and painful. I've loved the journey and I will always be grateful for this time. So like I said, even like I've done a good job at not looking ahead and not looking behind. I look present and I'm present with this guy and I'm going, today, right now, I want to spend my time and my energy with you. If we don't make it, that's okay. Because today I do.
Yeah.
Today I want to spend time with you. And if we make it, that would be amazing because this is a great journey. But if not, what a beautiful space he took in my life. And what a beautiful space he held for me to heal.
Yes.
And I love that he's in the same mindset space that you and I are. So he speaks the same language that you and I do, which is like speaks to my heart really well. And so to be able to sit there and say, you know, I think I said, I was like, listen, I know that my overthinking is a lot and I know this is kind of crazy, but just if you're patient, I think that I will be worth it. And for him just be like, you're worth it now. And like, and you're doing an amazing job. And like, he sees my journey. He sees what trauma does. So he's not looking at my trauma. He's not looking at me as an overthinker. He sees Gina.
Right.
And then is able to, he's like, that's not who you are. You're so much more than that. And that's who I'm here to, anyway, like all of that has just been so beautiful. And I love that I just love that I'm not super attached because it makes me not anxious.
Yes.
But I'm excited. But the problem is we're now at a point where I'm like, I want to spend all my time with him and we can't do that. And I'm like, this is annoying.
Right, because we're adults and have jobs and bills and responsibilities. And
yeah.
It's not like when we were young and we just had school and then we could hang out.
Right. Or like a job that was like hourly for like, whatever. And then we're done.
Right.
No, it's super annoying. I'm like, I want to hang out with you. And he's like, I've got this and this and my kids. He's like, the orthodontist. I was like, ugh, that was such an adult word.
That sounds horrible.
But anyway, I just, I appreciate you having shared your time frame stuff and the fact that you have been in a space of overthinking and anxious, because to be honest, I feel like you on the outside look like you're always holding it together.
That's a protective coping mechanism that I've done my whole life since I was a little girl. But that's not always true. That's not always how I'm feeling and what I'm doing, right?
So even with me, that's the thing, is even with me, I don't see that. You've hid that from me, which I think is really interesting. I'm the opposite. I overshare so other people can prove that they can take care of me and I'm worth it and valued. So we do have, we're opposites.
Weird, we're opposites with that. But we also too, we went through a really rough time when I started dating my boyfriend now, where it wasn't something that we talked about very often.
I did come across some text messages from when you would share stuff with me, and I was like, I wish we did this more. I wish you and I were in a better space of communicating, because that space, we could have done that space. We could have had that space. If we could do a redo, that would be great. Can we do a redo?
I don't know if I want to redo the last 2 years because there's a lot of hard mixed in with the good. I definitely don't want to redo the healing I already did the last 2 years.
Okay. Can we just redo you and me when you started dating?
Oh, okay.
Because honestly, I feel like all of it was just communication.
Yeah.
We just were new at that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, but we're growing and healing and doing better.
We are.
But I don't know. I'm so happy I just get to enjoy it. I get to enjoy when his name comes up on my phone instead of literally going, he doesn't want to see me anymore.
I'm probably breaking up with me. That's what this text is going to be.
Every time we would make plans, I was like, he's canceling. So there was a time where he's like, guess what? And I was like, you're not coming. Like, that was my instant thing. And I think he thinks I was joking. I was serious.
Yeah.
I was dead serious. And he's like, no, I was going to tell you I'm really excited to come see you. And I was like, oh, opposite. Weird. Like, so I'm
so
like,
weird.
I'm just still like, I'm getting to just enjoy liking a boy. And I still am like, oh, you like me? But I'm starting to move into of course you like me, obviously. Mm-hmm. Obviously. As you should. And so anyway, I'm just so happy to be in the fun space. And to be honest, it went pretty quickly and I'm still going to have it's still a lot of work. There's still hard days, but it was miserable. Like I remember I Marco Polo'd you and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to date anymore. This is too hard. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm learning to take up space. I'm learning that my authentic is what's going to be most attractive to him. Mm. And I'm learning how to do that. And it's super hard.
I love that.
I
love that you're doing it.
Okay. It's like, I hate it.
I do, because you're definitely different than you were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. More peace.
A lot lighter.
I look back and it was bad. I hated where my head was.
But it's real and it's raw. So I'm glad that we podcasted about it. And I'm glad that we have that episode for you to look back on and listen to.
Yeah.
It makes me think of, I'm reading a new book, I'm listening to a new book because I don't actually have time to sit and read, called The Mindful Path to Self-Compassion, which is apparently a very popular book. But he was talking about how when we go through particularly hard things and we have hard emotions or negative emotions, the more that we try to resist, the more we suffer. We create our own suffering by resisting those feelings. And today he was talking a little bit about how when we're having those hard emotions or negative feelings, whatever it is we're going through that's not pleasant and pretty, there's a lot less suffering if we are able to observe the feelings that we're having without any judgment at all.
I love that because I feel like that's exactly, I guess that's the lesson. Because I was just thinking about what is it that a listener can take away from this, and it's that the work is worth it.
It is.
And and somebody had said something about like I had gotten triggered, and I was brave enough to say, "Hey, that triggered me," and they're like, "I don't want to trigger you," and I was like, "That's not the point. It's not your job."
Right.
Triggers are indication that there's healing to be done there. So I don't want to avoid my triggers. I want to be prepared to take them on. And exactly what that book says, which is, okay, this is something to heal. Let's go figure it out. And I think for me, it's a combination of reading books like about anxious attachment. It's spending time with God. It's going to energy workers. It's talking to people who have been through similar experiences. It's taking up space and finding validation when I need it, and then learning to self-soothe. And like, there's so many things I'm learning that I need to be healthy in this space. And you and I don't do like a how-to on this podcast. That's not what we're here for. We're here to just share our experience, because the how-to is going to be different for everybody.
But if anybody has a how-to that works really well, please send it to us.
Like a guide on like how to heal from everything.
You've seen that meme that's like, when I was a teenager and I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do ever. But like right now, if somebody could tell me in chronological order exactly what to do, it'd be really helpful.
You're sending mixed signals because you also don't want people to tell you what to do.
I really don't.
So like, which one do you want? You want the handbook that you can pick to do it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you want. True. Yeah, there we go.
But I can also like make it my own.
Opt out. I don't like that one. No. But I think I think the moral of the story is giving up on when this got hard, and I was like, I don't even want to date. This is too hard, because it had nothing to do with him.
Right.
All the hard is just me. And And so for that to be the lesson is just not hiding away. Like I get to be at peace now and I get to enjoy dating and I get to move forward with a potential life partner or be available for one that comes along later or whatever. It's always worth it. It's hard and it's ugly a lot of the time, and figuring out what to do is hard, but like thinking out of the box, talk to people, find resources that get you. I don't know, for me, I love that if I trust God, He's going to put in my path what I need. He's going to put the people, the right conversations, the right things that I'm going to need to get through. And if I trust that plan, then I'm good. It's hard and it's uncomfortable, but on the other side, and I don't want to say I'm on the other side, but I'm on my way, or I'm in a space where I'm like, I can say I have peace. Not every day is easy, but life's not easy. But I have peace and I get to enjoy this now. So
absolutely. There's a praise and worship song, and some of the lyrics inside are, "I think I want answers, but what I really need is peace."
I love that.
And that verse, that sentence in her song, just like always speaks to me so much. I don't need all the answers. I wouldn't, even if God gave us all the answers, because His thoughts are not our thoughts, His ways are not our ways. I don't think we'd understand them.
It's true.
And so that just gives me, I don't know, peace is the right word, but I guess peace, right? That I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to know it, but I just need His peace is what I need.
Peace has been my word. I want to be peace for my partner. I want to have peace in my home. Like that's been something you and I have worked really hard on since our divorces, is having peace in our lives. And I guess at the end of the day, this experience of dating and going through all the hard stuff and continuing to go through the hard stuff is bringing me more peace in my life, whether in relationships, in how I feel about myself and how I view other people. It all over the place. It's so much healing that is not just with a boy. It's everywhere. And I'm so grateful for that, because who doesn't want more peace in their life? And so that's where I'm at, and that's my goal. And it's been awesome, and I'm grateful for it.
I love that. I want to share one thing before we start wrapping this up. One thing that's been really helpful for me lately, because I deal with a lot of anxiety and anxious attachment and things like that. One thing that has really been helping me is to say my feelings out loud, which is the simplest thing.
Yeah.
But just to say them out loud. I did it with you this morning on the way up here. We were taking a road we've never been on before, and before I even left the house, I was anxious about driving the road, right? And so we got up to it, and all I said to you was, I'm excited, but I'm really anxious to drive the road. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun. And I wasn't anxious driving it.
I love it.
Was so fun. But just saying my feelings out loud, sometimes I don't know exactly what they are, or I have so many flowing through me that I can't pick them apart. So I will just say, I'm having a lot of big feelings right now.
I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but Ada is a neighbor of ours who has Down syndrome, and we're besties. In fact, my other friendship bracelet says bestie that I made for her. Her and I have that.
I already know, which is why I didn't ask about that one.
Anyway, so after church on one of the Sundays, I went over and I was like, hi, and she's like, hi, and she was a little bit more sad. I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, big feelings. And I was like, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Let's sit down. Big feelings. She goes, ugh, big feelings. And I was just like, do you want a hug? And she goes, yeah. And she just like held, like she's hugged me for a while. And I was like, you have big feelings too. Like we just sometimes I don't know what they are, but just saying big feelings. But I love that has been a lesson that's been taught, is just bringing things to light. And I do that with this guy that I'm dating, and sometimes just saying it. I'm like, I don't need you to solve this problem. I'm not here to solve this problem. I'm just telling you this is how I feel. And half the time that's all we need. And
absolutely.
Then we move on.
There are times where I just need to say, I'm so anxious right now. I don't actually need to talk about it.
Yep.
I just need to say I'm anxious. I just need to say that I'm scared. I just need to say that I'm mad. I just need to say it out loud.
I have a really interesting thought about that. So emotions get dammed up inside of us, right? And I wonder if that's Satan's way of keeping things dammed up, because with the energy worker, I came in with a specific thing I wanted to work on. We didn't talk about it once. We talked about things different. And she was like, I almost feel like we broke through things and we may not need to talk about that. The other will just flow. And so I wonder if Satan puts these fears in us, because fear comes from him.
Right.
If he puts these fears from us, in us, to hold those emotions back, to dam us up so that we're not able to flow through. And so as soon as we bring them to the light and we break that down, like some of the work isn't as hard, which is why I love energy work and different kinds of healing other than just talk therapy.
Right.
Because I feel like that we don't have to dig into everything. I don't like we, as people who have been in narcissistic abuse, talking about our traumas make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you and I do it is different. There's a lot of like, I need to feel seen and heard, but we don't have to relive all of our experiences to heal them. That
Yes.
makes it worse because we're not hitting the right part of the brain that's been damaged when you do talk therapy.
Yes.
So I think that with energy, I'm wondering if that's a tactic of Satan's, is he dams up some stuff. He puts fear in us and we're afraid to talk about it. But when we bring it to light, it breaks that dam and then the emotions just flow and we don't have to do as much work as we think we do.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be willing to let it go and bring it to light and let Christ and God move it through us and just trust that.
I love that. I accept that.
Yeah, take it. I am so grateful that this October is this warm. We are up in the mountains. I'm in a sweatshirt and I'm sweating.
I'm sitting here wondering if I have a tank top on under this, contemplating taking this off.
I feel like last October when we were up here, we were doing fall colors and snow.
With snow jackets on.
Yeah, we're not doing that. And I am so grateful because I need as much sunshine because it gives me life.
God's like, it's been a hard summer for them.
We're gonna extend it a little bit longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Okay.
Oh man, I am grateful for this energy worker that you found. I get to see her for the first time today.
I cannot wait to hear how
I'm
it goes
excited, but I'm also anxious because things have been really difficult for us, especially the last 10 days.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm going to walk in and she's going to be like, what do you want to work on? And I'm going to be like, I don't know, because it's all a fucking shit show.
And that's what she's there for. That's what she's like. She's all about it.
There's definitely going to be crying, so I'm not excited about that. I hate that.
Okay, so maybe focus on.
If I'm going to cry, I would prefer to cry in my closet in the dark alone.
I like to do it up in the mountains in the dark.
That's a good place too, but I don't want to run into a moose crying.
It makes the crying so much more fun though.
I love it.
It's not like I do that ever.
No.
That didn't happen 2 days ago. It's fine.
It's fine. We're fine.
I'm so excited for you to go. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm sorry that you're anxious, but you're going to leave feeling so much lighter.
I love it. I'm super excited for it. I'm hoping, I have a lot of hope that it's going to help with a lot of stuck feelings right now and things that we're having to process and go through. So I'm excited. I talked to you. I talked to my boyfriend, let y'all know, I'm leaving my phone in the car. I want to be fully present. I want to get as much as I can out of this. So, and then I scheduled nothing for after because I have no idea how I'm going to feel and
exhausted. You're going to feel exhausted.
Perfect. So I'm not cooking dinner either. So what I'm hearing is you gave me permission to order dinner out.
Absolutely. 100%. Okay. Well, hopefully some of this, I don't know. I'm not here trying to say that we're here to heal other people, but I'm just hoping, my biggest thing is I want someone to feel seen.
Yes.
And so someone coming into a space of dating's hard, I can't do this, do the work. It's worth it. So
it is.
That's the only space I want to give.
I love it. Perfect.
Okay.
Till next time.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.